Now, hold up. D.L. Hughley's whole argument falls apart right here. Watch this clip closely, because the second you apply some real-world experience to it, the whole thing unravels immediately.
I understand that you're hardline, and you say, look, if you supported them, I'm done with you. But if they genuinely have a change of heart, right? And why wouldn't you want to have more people on your side of the aisle?
I think the one thing that's consistent with people that have changed their mind is there was an inherent selfishness they responded to. When something happened to them or somebody that looked like them or somebody they love, then they responded. Had it been happening to anybody else, they wouldn't have cared. So if your motivation is that, you have seen it damage people that you love, that's selfishness. And you voted in a very selfish way.
So you're saying there's no room in politics, there's no room for forgiveness.
What I've learned from Republicans is you draw your circles tight and keep it that way. The entire administration now is based on not proficiency, not professionalism, but loyalty. Loyalty.
But to your point, that's Trump, right? And let's say he can't run again. So now you're just talking about whether someone is going to espouse the Republican platform or the Democrat platform, right?
I don't think it's as simple as I was misled. I think you wanted to believe a thing. I think that you didn't care who it hurt as long as it wasn't you. And if it were brown and black people, all the more better for it. You know what's interesting? 2 weeks ago when I was on, 3 weeks ago I was on, you and I and Charles were talking about how Bill Maher was saying, the tariffs didn't hurt anybody and I drive down my street. 3 days later, the jobs report came out and it talked about the people it hurt. Mm-hmm. When he goes to D.C. and he takes over the city under the pretext.
Hey, man, it's nothing I can do. There's black people that think that D.L. Hughley is very intelligent. There are people that you see a D.L. Hughley video, you look in the comment section, you'll see a lot of black women say how smart D.L. Hughley is. I think they're unwell. I don't think they listen to what he's saying. D.L. Hughley is a moron. He just is, man. I wish it wasn't true. I remember he was the fourth funniest person on the Kings of Comedy. And I remember the joke about the wrench around and wrench it off, and the rag on the nightstand, the rough rag on I remember these jokes. He hasn't told jokes in a long time, but he's not funny. It's sad what he's saying. Look, man. But the thing I want to get to is none of that. None of that is what I want to say. My point to this clip is this. As black Americans, you know what we need to do? We need to do exactly what D.L. Hughley is saying that the white people did. Because that's what he's saying. He's saying white people vote for themselves. Who else you supposed to fucking vote for, dude? That's the fucking problem with the Democrats now. That's what's problem with the liberals. That's what's wrong with you corporate sellouts. Because really, D.L. Hughley doesn't have a political IQ. What he has is a best interest. And his best interest is to stay friends with the people with the money. And those people with the money are the liberals. That's what D.L. is doing. D.L. Hughley is staying attached to the bag. Anybody that doesn't get that by now is slipping. But black Americans need to adopt the attitude. The attitude like, what's in it for us? All other groups vote their best interest. Black people have been led around by the nose, and I should say, led around by their hearts. They want us to be bleeding hearts for everybody except ourselves. Yeah, when I'm talking about immigration, that's a self-preservation. That for me, I work doing this. I do this. I'm not really impacted by that in my work, not in my career, right? I'm not impacted by someone taking my job because of immigration or having to compete with somebody for lower wages. I don't work a wage job. All right, so I'm on that shit because I believe I'm talking about my kids, my grandkids, my friends, my neighbors. I'm talking about my community when I stand on business. That's not what DL's doing. DL's standing on parties. black Americans need to adopt this attitude that D.L. Hughley is saying that the white Americans have. And that attitude is worried about self. He's calling it selfishness. We should all be selfish with our politics. We should vote the politics that best benefits our lives, that best puts us in a situation. What black Americans have been doing wrongly, what we've been failing to do, what we've been doing this wrong is we've been listening to people like D.L. Hughley. They've been gaslighting us, telling us everybody else's problems, and not talking about our shit. What about voting for our problems? What about voting for our issues and our concerns? D.L. wants to hang people out to dry who voted for Trump, and he's saying they voted for him selfishly. What about what he's doing to black people? Yeah, what's he doing to black people? What's he doing? Did you have the same smoke when he was under Biden about what Biden is doing? And even if that's the case, even if you talk about jobs numbers, employment numbers, fam, a lot of people lost their jobs under Biden. A lot of people lost their jobs, fam. I don't know what you're talking about. There was a lot of jobs that went away that never came back. Well, but we could go all the way back. There were a lot of homes that were lost under Obama people lost homes and never got homes again. A lot of black people were grossly impacted by the Wall Street stealing, and none of those fuckers went to jail. And it was Obama in office and Biden as vice president. And what are we talking about? And what I'm saying is we can always go back and forth about what president let you down in what way. All people can do is vote their best interest. If your best interest is someone else's best interest, I don't think you got any problems in your life. Which ties me back to what I was saying earlier. If you missed it, guys, look, if you don't need to be focused on things, how they impact you, and you have the liberty, you have the room to be worried about the next person, great. That means you don't have problems. Next. But see, black community does have problems. Less black Americans own their own home today than we did in the 60s. Fact. Why are we operating as if it's the opposite? Why are we operating as if we're killing it? No, we need to be focused on ourselves. What things were D.L. Hughley fighting for us to have? Nothing. D.L. Hughley and the elite blacks and those connected to the Democratic Party were fighting for their friend to get elected so that they could do well, so that they could continue to grow, so that their team would win because opportunities would open. You know, D.L.'s ass would have been at that fucking White House every other month if Kamala was there. Who knows what he would be hosting for her? Who knows what he would be doing? Same thing goes for all the rest of them. If you don't believe there was an ulterior motives behind all that shit, fam, just look at the trackers of all the houses that went up for sale, all the leases that were canceled in the D.C. area when she lost. They were picking out drapes, Johnson. They believed that 100 days was all it was going to take with no real plans to get you to vote in Kamala Harris. And when you did not, they punished us all for it. Vote your best interest. D.L. Hughley's right, but he's wrong. His advice, he should be saying the opposite to black America. He should be saying, we need to vote our best interest. We need to be selfish and focus on our problems. If you're sitting on the bottom in the hierarchy, if you're the ones with the highest unemployment, you're the ones with the shortest life expectancy, you're the ones with the higher incarceration rates, you're the ones with the higher foreclosure rates, you're the one with the most homeless rates, highest homeless rates, then we're the ones we should be focused on. But we're not. We're looking over here going, we got to help the people that want to use the pronouns and the people that want to use the bathrooms. And we got to help the people that want to come from other countries and come here and get a new job because they can make money over there or whatever their situation is. Or maybe they just like our Netflix channel selection and whatever. Not making much sense. Dear Hughley's got it wrong. God help us. I hope we can finally get it right and recognize the game. The game is everybody else is voting their best interest. The Somalis in Minnesota voted their best interest. Okay? Conservatives, they're voting their best interest. That's why he's mad at them. Their best interest. Or their culture issue best interest. Whatever that is. They make a decision based on what's on the table, what's important to them. We need to do the same thing. All right, guys. Let's keep it moving. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section, man. This is important. I really want to know if this is making sense, because I thought about this, and I said, you know what? I don't want to make this all about DL. I want to make it about the broader point. And the broader point is, and it's a question: are Black Americans focused enough on themselves in our problems? I'm not saying we can solve everything by ourselves, but if we can focus on our problems and not making everybody else our problems be their problems, then maybe we'd be closer to some solutions. At least then we know who to go with, what to support. We don't have to like people. We just have to find solutions for our problems. We don't have to want to have dinner or beer, eat a meal with them, kick it with them, go to the movies. None of that is important. They don't even need to look like us. They don't need to look like us. Nothing. They don't need to listen to we don't give a shit what's on their playlist. We need to stop being played. We don't need symbols. We need solutions. Holla if you hear me.
Catch Tim Black live on the most dangerous show in America, Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. Don't miss out on the real. Stay dangerous.